The stock market continues to push higher, and many investors are asking the same question. Are we on the verge of new all-time highs, or are we approaching another major turning point? At the moment, the bulls appear to be in control. Artificial intelligence enthusiasm, expectations for lower interest rates, and continued momentum in technology stocks have helped fuel an impressive rally. But from a financial astrology perspective, there are reasons to believe that the road ahead may not be as smooth as many expect. Two major celestial events are approaching, and both deserve careful attention. The first is the summer solstice on June 21st, one of the most important turning points of the year. For thousands of years, solstices have marked shifts in energy, weather patterns, political developments, and market sentiment. Financial astrologers often watch these seasonal turning points closely because they frequently coincide with trend reversals or significant changes in investor psychology. However, an even more intriguing development arrives just days earlier. On June 18th, Chiron moves from geocentric Aries into Taurus. For those unfamiliar with Chiron, it is often referred to as the wounded healer and occupies a unique position in our solar system between Saturn and Uranus. Symbolically, Chiron acts as a bridge between the old world and the new, exposing vulnerabilities while also revealing opportunities for healing and transformation. When Chiron enters Taurus, attention shifts toward themes ruled by Taurus itself. Taurus governs food, agriculture, farming, land, livestock, commodities, natural resources, money, banking, and personal security. Historically, periods when Chiron travels through Taurus have often corresponded with disruptions involving food production, agricultural markets, supply chains, and commodity pricing. In some cases, these disruptions were linked to weather extremes. In others, human behavior played a major role. Wars, trade disputes, sanctions, transportation bottlenecks, labor shortages, and political instability have all contributed to supply shocks that ultimately affected food availability and prices. This does not necessarily mean grocery store shelves will suddenly become empty. But it does suggest that inflationary pressures connected to food and essential commodities could begin receiving greater attention in the months ahead. If food prices rise significantly, the effects extend far beyond the agricultural sector. Higher food costs squeeze consumers. Consumer spending slows. Corporate profit margins come under pressure. Central banks face additional challenges, and investors begin to reconsider whether current stock valuations remain justified. This is where things become particularly interesting. Many major stock indexes are already trading near historically elevated valuation levels. Investors have become increasingly optimistic that technological innovation and artificial intelligence will drive another powerful phase of economic growth. That scenario remains possible. In fact, markets could continue climbing and even reach fresh all-time highs over the coming weeks. The rally may not be finished yet. However, astrology often teaches us that periods of maximum optimism frequently occur near important turning points. As Chiron enters Taurus and the summer solstice arrives, investors may begin confronting risks that have largely been ignored during the recent advance. Food inflation, commodity shortages, weather disruptions, geopolitical tensions, trade conflicts, energy supply concerns. Any combination of these factors could challenge the market's current narrative. Looking at historical patterns, there is another reason for caution. Late July and August have often been volatile periods during major planetary transitions. Not every year produces a crash. History never repeats perfectly, but it frequently rhymes. If similar patterns emerge again, we could see a meaningful correction develop during the second half of summer. That correction might not necessarily mark the end of the bull market. Instead, it could represent a necessary reset after an extended period of optimism and rising prices. In other words, the market may still have enough momentum to push higher first. new all-time highs remain entirely possible. But investors should remain alert for warning signs beneath the surface. Watch agricultural commodities, watch food prices, watch weather events affecting major crop regions, watch geopolitical developments involving global supply chains, and pay close attention to how markets react around the June 18th Chiron ingress and the June 21st Summer Solstice. These dates could prove far more important than many investors currently realize. The next chapter of this market may not be written solely by artificial intelligence, earnings reports, or Federal Reserve policy. It may also be influenced by forces connected to food, resources, and the increasingly fragile systems that support the global economy. The question is not whether change is coming. The question is whether investors will recognize it before the crowd does. Do you think the stock market is heading for new all-time highs, or are we approaching a significant summer correction? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy financial astrology, market timing, planetary cycles, and investment analysis, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future updates. And remember, this channel is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Nothing in this video should be considered financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. Always do your own research and consult with a qualified financial professional before making investment decisions.